everyone, and welcome back to Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, where we are about to play the final chapter of Snake Tales and hereby ending the entire Metal Gear Solid 2 Let's Play. Very excited for this one. We will be going in completely blind, so I literally don't know anything about this final chapter because I wanted it to be a surprise. So it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. It's called the External Gazer, and we are going to jump straight in. I opened the door to strut B. I went out on the AB connecting bridge. No enemy sighted. Otacon gave me instructions via codec. Listen carefully, Snake. I'll explain again. Our target this time is that of a mysterious unidentified monster that's got the whole world in an uproar. They call it the Galaglon? Galaglon? I don't know. Galaglon, we'll go with that. Probably butchered it, but you know. What is he talking about? The only ones in uproar are Otacon and Mei Ling, and I bet they're the only ones using that nickname too. That's what I was thinking anyway, but I didn't say anything. Otacon continued, I think you already know this, but do not hurt the target. Take a picture of it before it has a chance to get away. You've made it this far, so don't do anything stupid. My hands were tied. Ridiculous or not, a mission is a mission. I made up my mind and began walking across the AB connecting bridge. Alright then. Oh nice, we've got a gun. Galaglon? Galaglon? I don't know. What is it? Some kind of Metal Gear? Like the name of a Metal Gear Ray or something? Oh. I stared in stunned silence at the churning whirlpool the sea had become. The surface of the sea was beginning to rise, no question about it. Something huge was getting ready to make an appearance. My mysterious, ludicrous quest, my so-called monster search mission, looked to be coming to an unexpected conclusion. How did I get involved in this ridiculous mission? It all began 3 days ago. I was testing Otacon's latest invention, the VR system at Philanthropy's hideout in New York. What? So is this some kind of, let's say, some kind of Metal Gear or something? I don't know. Oh! Alternative bomb disposal? 10 minutes, 2 bombs. Hang on a minute. We're in VR missions now? And we're on the tanker. What is... so weird. Oh. That'll be one of the bombs then. Oh, there it is. Okay. Right, well, we got the first one. Okay. Well, I guess in a way I'm kind of glad that I didn't look into this one before I played, but I wasn't expecting... it to be VR missions, that's for sure. Alright, where are you then? There you are. Alright, well, we did it!
You know what you're doing.
With Olga's voice. Okay, nice. Alright. The world disappeared before my eyes. As my senses returned to my body, I realised that I wasn't actually on the bomb disposal mission on a tanker. I was sitting in the VR training seat. I pulled off the headset and Otacon turned to speak. You were doing just fine. I nodded reluctantly. Otacon asked me with pride, What do you think about the new VR system? Not bad. That's all. Unsatisfied, he cocked his head. I can't believe it, to tell you the truth. I didn't expect it to work so well. I know, the VR system incorporates something called the Copplethorne engine. I just got it the other day. The Copplethorne engine. Hearing the question, Otacon removed his glasses, a smile on his face. The Copplethorne engine is a quantum calculation system that's been getting a lot of attention in certain quarters recently. You know about about quantum computing, right? Began Otacon. He went on and on, qubits this and tensor products that. For the next 2 hours and 37 minutes, I regretted my stupidity in having asked. In short, it allows the construction of virtual reality environments containing a unprecedented amount of information. That information is converted into a signal and conveyed into your brain via the headset, directly synthesizing information for each of your senses while simultaneously cutting off feedback from your actual body. That way, it's possible to realise a virtual reality environment that is completely indistinguishable from the real world, down to light, sounds, even your sense of smell and touch. He took a breather. I couldn't miss my opportunity. I see, I understand now, I said, trying to get up out of the seat. But Otacon stopped me. Wait a second, let's try it again. The goal for the next scenario will be to eliminate the enemies and secure an escape path for the hostages on Big Shell. I guess Otacon couldn't wait to try out his new toy. Reluctantly, I took the seat again. Otacon continued his briefing. Your mission is to eliminate all the enemies within a certain period of time. Ready? Here we go. I put the headset back on and closed my eyes. A burst of light flashed through my eyelids. The next moment, I found myself surrounded by a world I could hardly believe was a mere construct. Okay. Elimination. Take out all the enemies and get to the goal. The enemy's shotgun is very powerful. Be very careful. Okay. Right, no sweat. This isn't my first rodeo.
He got me! Stay on lookout for the intruder! Enemy sight.
Nope.
What's going on? Respond. Is something wrong?
Is that it? Did we get them all? Alright, where's the goal?
Return to your positions. Stay sharp.
Where's the goal? Oh. Okay.
Great.
Okay. Sure. The VR simulation ended, the all-too-real virtual reality disappeared, and the senses returned to my body. I removed the headset. How was it? Asked Otacon. I told him what I'd noticed during my 2 trials. It's well done, no question. But it feels kind of unnatural, like something's wrong with my senses. Unnatural? In what way? It's tough to explain, but I feel like I'm possessing someone else's body. That's because of the pseudo-signal filling your brain. Theoretically, it should be possible to replicate the exact same stimulus as from the sensory structures of your physical body. Midway through my discussion with Otacon, the door opened and in strode Mei Ling. Hey, check this out. Mei Ling threw us a tabloid she had brought with her. A monster at Big Shell. What is that? It looks like Godzilla. It was an article describing the appearance of some kind of huge creature near Big Shell. The title shouted, "A monster at Big Shell." Completely ridiculous. So what? I said without hesitation. Mei Ling blinked in surprise. So what? It's a monster snake. Otacon hit the table. That's right, it's a monster. That picture has to be fake. It was the most normal opinion in the world, but you wouldn't have known by the way they glared at me. Finally, they simply decided to ignore me. It sounds incredible, doesn't it, Mei Ling? A monster in New York? It's amazing. I agree. It's amazing. Too amazing. So it's at Big Shell. I want to go and see it. Hey, Otacon, I have an idea. How about catching the monster? What do you say? Great idea, let's get him. It'd be a real boon to biology. No, I take that back, to all of the sciences. That's right. Hey, do you think we could get a lot of customers if we build a monster zoo? Of course, judging by the dorsal fin, I think it's a monster. I think this monster must have come from underwater. What do you think? Maybe we should... What is this? Maybe. What about stuffed animals or t-shirts? Not bad, but I can't help thinking that it might be a messenger from space, you know. Oh, totally, but we'd better register a trademark first. They excitedly kept on with what seemed to be a totally disjointed conversation. I couldn't believe they were actually considering it, but I had to ask. Hey, I hope you're not serious about catching this thing. Otacon regarded me with utter shock. Wake up, Snake, we're talking about a monster here. Mei Ling kicked a chair. He's right, this is about a monster. But Otacon leaned towards me. A monster of unknown origin has appeared. As a scientist, I can't simply ignore it. Do I have to remind you about philanthropy's financial situation? We don't even know if we have enough to cover our rent this month. Snapped Mei Ling, fire in her eyes. But what do you propose instead of catching it? This is so stupid. Are you just going to quietly let this opportunity slip by, you coward? But Otacon and Mei Ling kept up their simulant, I can't even speak now, tirade as I hesitated. We've got to do it, we've got to do it. At this point there was nothing to say except okay. That's the story. So I came to Big Shell. That was 3 hours ago. What is going on? It's got to be a Metal Gear, right? Like, it's just got to be like a ray that went wrong or broke down or something. If Godzilla comes out of water, I don't know what I'm gonna say. Oh my god, it's so stupid. It's got to be a ray, isn't it? It's just caught at a funny angle or something. I contacted Otacon via codec as I entered Strut C. What's up, Snake? Found any clues? Asked Otacon. Negative, but I've seen some strange people wandering around. I told Otacon about the soldiers I'd seen on the CD connecting bridge. Otacon replied, I bet they're trying to get the Gurlagon. Just like we are. I don't think it has to be, he swore with confidence. Anyway, just move ahead without getting caught. Most of the sightings of the Gurlagon have been southwest of the Big Shell. Head for the AB connecting bridge. I'd come this far, so there was there was nothing to do but follow Otacon. I started moving towards the AB connecting bridge. Go down, buddy. There we go. Godzilla's gonna get ya! He's gonna get ya! Right. Anyway, that's the story. Here I am, forced to hunt down a monster, and it looks as though something's about to appear before my very eyes. At this point, there's nothing to do but get ready. I checked over the camera. I have no idea what I'm about to see, but I'm going to shoot first and ask questions later. I'm just going to save quickly. What is that? Oh, for God's sake! What the fuck? Sorry! The fuck? Oh God, what is that? Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Oh no! No! Come on! Come on, no! Stop stupid! Oh God! Oh. Well, that didn't go so well. Talk about killing the mood, guys! Just before we carry on, I died a lot there, so I'm going to have to edit a lot of this out. But at the end of the video, just like always, you'll be able to see my final stats. Anyway. Get out of my way, screamed Olga. She wasn't armed. She didn't seem to be making a move to attack. I began talking to her as I holstered my gun. What are you doing here? Olga smiled a little, but something about her smile wasn't right. She looked so different. She didn't carry the sense of darkness and tragedy I remembered. In fact, she looked like a totally different woman. Don't get too friendly. I'm not the me that you know, and I don't know the me that you do know. What are you talking about? I'm looking for the key to get back to my universe, and that strange creature is it. It doesn't belong in your universe. What on earth is this? Neither do I. We're from a different place, and your universe is for trouble too. Is in for trouble too if you just ignore things. I just couldn't wrap my brain around Olga's story. I was lost. Grinding her teeth, Olga looked down to the surface of the sea. Damn, he's getting away. Listen, check the VR system. It's allowing you to peek into another universe. What? That's what's causing all this trouble, shouted Olga as she jumped from the connecting bridge. Wait! I leaned over the railing, but Olga had already disappeared into the sea. Olga's henchmen were jumping into the sea one after another. I was left on the connecting bridge alone. I couldn't see the Gurlagon anymore. My photo of Gurlagon sat on the table at the hideout. No sign today? I asked Mei Ling. No, looks like it hasn't shown up today either. It had been a week. No new sightings of the Gurlagon. No one knew where he'd show up next. Maybe he'd never show up ever again. I believed Olga. It didn't seem like she was lying, and what's more, the existence of that ridiculous monster was proof in and of itself. There was no way something like that could live in our world, but it might be possible in another. Otacon brought up a theory about parallel universes. As usual, Otacon gave far more of an explanation than necessary. But in a nutshell, the idea was that rather than a single universe, there were countless universes existing in parallel. That meant that one universe might be exactly the same as mine, except the number of hairs on my head was off by one. In another universe, civilization might have sprung from Paramecia? There could even be a universe full of monsters. Otacon thought these universes were supposed to be mutually exclusive, but for some reason had begun randomly intersecting. That was how the Olga we knew became switched with an Olga from a parallel universe, and how that monster had came to be in ours. And Otacon warned that the phenomenon seemed to be progressing as we spoke. But if his theory was correct, we were in for big trouble. For example, it was possible that in an hour I might switch with another version of myself from a different universe. Otacon might have already been switched with a different Otacon. What would happen to us if we switched to a universe, say, where the moon was about to collide with the Earth or something? It was simply impossible to predict what might happen next. This is ridiculous. Fortunately, the moon hadn't smashed into us yet, or at least not in our universe. Of course, that didn't guarantee we'd be safe tomorrow. How's the analysis of the VR system coming? Otacon shook his head. I'm not getting anything at all. Otacon looked sick when he heard Olga had said that the VR system was the root of the problem. He told me that the Koppelthorne engine, the heart of the new VR system, was a quantum computation device designed by Dr. Koppelthorne, but the principles behind it remained unknown. He opened the housing, a literal black box, and found nothing inside except some mysterious circuits, clattering gears, and what appeared to be some iron spheres. But somehow it worked. That's probably why it was such a source of excitement for some people. Pseudoscience aficionados had examined the thing, but the only conclusions thus far had centered around the possibility that it made use of components from UFOs or artifacts from lost civilization, meaning nobody had figured out what made it tick. And what's more, nobody had ever seen this Dr. Koppelthorne himself or herself either. So what was the connection between this mysterious VR system and the collision of parallel universes. Olga had said the root of the problem was the VR systems peeking into other universes, but Mei Ling had her own theory. The Copplethorne engine-based VR system wasn't simply constructing a virtual reality for its calculations, but managed to get around the wall separating the parallel universes, peering into parallel realities that satisfied certain requirements, and incorporating that information into the VR system's virtual reality construct. Perhaps that observation and interference was creating the disturbance in the parallel universes. What is this? But that wasn't all, said Mei Ling. Perhaps Olga was searching for the Gurglon, I still can't pronounce it, because it was the cause of the distortion among the parallel universes. The Gurglon had become the fulcrum, around which space had warps, and if that was true, there would be no way to stop the distortion without getting rid of the Gurglon itself, and for that reason we continued searching for the Gurglon. We'd lost all trace of the monster and hadn't made any further progress into analysing the VR system, but the disturbance of the parallel universes might as well be continuing. It was possible that some of the universes might even be in peril, and it was equally possible that our universe could follow the same path moments later. We were completely frazzled. I'm frazzled just reading this. Suddenly, Mei Ling spoke. If killing Gurglon will make things right, there might be a way. What do you mean? Otacon raised his face and Mei Ling began her explanation. If it is true that the VR system can interfere with other parallel universes, why not try killing Gurglon within the VR system? That could mean we're actually killing the original Gurglon, and the Gurglon in our universe could disappear. Isn't that just a little too extreme? Objected Otacon, which to Mei Ling shot back. We can't just sit back and stare at the photo, we've got to do something. You agree with me, right, Snake? I'm not sure, I answered. Her logic seemed extreme no matter how I looked at it, but at the same time I had the feeling that I'd end up doing it anyway. Doing something for the sake of doing it wasn't the answer, but I had to agree we still had to come up with a solution to the problem. A few hours later, I squared off against the Gurglon inside the VR system. Oh, come on! Really? I'm nowhere near drunk enough to be doing something like this! Jesus! PSG, right, okay. And a stinger. Well, in that case, I'm assuming, as ridiculous as it is, I'm going to assume that we're going to take it down like a ray, right? Ah, okay. I get it. It reveals that we do that and we shoot the targets. At least it's not going to be difficult, that's a plus. Alright, note to self, do not get caught in that. Right, so I'm assuming that each of these body parts... Ow! There we go. I really don't want to get that close to it, but at least it doesn't move around, so that's nice. And luckily I'm a pretty decent shot with that thing. Reload. Will you stop shouting at what is this? Seriously? It's definitely different. Can't deny that. Definitely 100% different. I'm glad that the bullets always regenerate. Right, just your head now, buddy. Which I'm assuming is going to be the difficult one. Did we do it? Is that it? Oh! Alright, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Gurglon defeated, we turned the VR system off, but somehow I wasn't convinced. I removed the headset and spoke to Otacon. So, do you think we really did it? Otacon shrugged. Looked like he felt the same way I did. Just then, Mei Ling said, of course the mission had succeeded. I saw a wicked smile on her face. We just lost the only way to restore the parallel universes to normal. What did you say? I said, rising from the seat. Mei Ling responded. There's no question that Gurglon was the singularity that represented the warp in the parallel universes, but the only way to restore space as we know it wasn't destroying the singularity. A solution was to capture the singularity, perform a unitary conversion via the Koppen-Thorne engine, thereby dispersing the wave function to its state before convergence. Mei Ling continued, her voice full of satisfaction. Anyway, the disappearance of the singularity means the disappearance of the only method to restore space too. Who are you? Mei Ling sneered at Otacon's cry. To borrow Olga's words, I'm not the Mei Ling you know. What? But no hard feelings, okay? I was just following someone's orders to complete a certain objective. What is this? Someone who? I asked her back. My husband, Mei Ling replied sweetly. I believe he's called Solidus in your universe. What? Solidus? We screamed without thinking. Mei Ling slowly pointed at the wall and said, oh, speak of the devil. Just then the wall exploded, debris poured from the gap, dust enveloped the area, and Solidus Snake, clad in a powered suit, stood in the middle. Solidus said to Mei Ling, kept you waiting, huh? Honey! Oh my god, this... What am I reading? Mei Ling threw herself into Solidus's arms. I dove for Solidus. He fired a missile from his snake hand. A dazzling flash, an explosion. I was thrown against the wall. I lost consciousness momentarily. By the time I managed to get to my feet, I saw Solidus cradling Mei Ling, and escaping through the hole, he'd just blown in the wall. Alright. In the end, I couldn't keep up with Solidus. Otacon and I discussed what to do next as we stood in our half-destroyed hideout. If they were telling the truth, we just lost the way to restore the balance of the parallel universes. But there still had to be something we could do. Finally, Otacon spoke. What about Olga? It wasn't a bad idea. The Olga we'd run into at Big Shell seemed to have a good grasp of the situation. She might be able to come up with some kind of solution. There was just one problem. Where could she be? I told Otacon my concerns and he nodded with confidence. I have an idea. So, what's your skill? Asked Otacon. A beautiful black woman with a slender build was sitting in front of us. She was too cheerful. She laughed far too often. I've got it. Really good luck. Good luck? Is that a skill? You betcha. Somewhat dismissively, I watched Otacon continue questioning the applicant. Otacon had placed an ad entitled Wanted Gurglon Search Team members in the city's main newspaper the other day. Let's catch the mysterious monster with our own hands. We have credible information about where the creature will appear. Experience a plus, details to be discussed during an interview. Oh my god. Unbelievably, quite a few people had shown up. We'd already met with more than 10, but there was still no sign of Olga. We'll contact you later. I really look forward to hearing from ya. The woman stood up, gave him a big smile and left. I said to Otacon, do you really think this is going to work? She has to be on the lookout for information about the Gurglon. She'll show up. But all we've gotten so far are weirdos, like that old man whose skill was backflips and sliding and... Yeah, he was funny. Hey! Obviously Otacon was getting a kick out of the whole scene. Relax. Let's wait a little longer. Next, yelled Otacon. The door opened. Lo and behold, walked in Olga. Back in the remains of our hideout, we explained the situation to Olga. After hearing our full account, Olga told us that there was still a way out. It is true that the Gurglon singularity might have been erased, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all of the singularities in all of the parallel universes have been. A glimmer of hope flashed through Otocon's eyes. You mean there are other singularities? Most likely, but their forms and locations in the parallel universes are unknown. They won't be easy to find. We have to find some data about Gurgulon. If we analyse its pattern, scan the vicinity of the strange attractor with VR, maybe we can... Otacon and Olga continued their technical discussion. The end result, said Otacon, was settling on a method to find the singularities of other parallel universes by continuously and finely adjusting the wave function parameter of the VR system to mimic the unique patterns generated by a singularity. In other words, it looked like I'd have to make it through a series of VR constructs. Preparations were being made faster than I expected. I returned to the seat of the VR system. Otacon said, I'll tell you as soon as I locate a singularity. Until then, I want you to continue clearing VR stages. But be careful. I don't think Solidus will just take this sitting down. You may run into traps. Stay alert. Otacon installed the VR system. A virtual reality spread before my eyes.